What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Many of you are familiar, perhaps, with John Deere for a variety of reasons. One, Lewis Rossman, who has talked at length about John Deere versus right to repair, as John Deere won't let farmers or anyone else fix their own equipment. Also, you may be familiar with them if you live in the Midwest, because you see one on just about everybody's lawn. They make a lot of personal lawn tractors, lawn mowers, implements for farms, generally seen as, a good company. Well, Robbie Starbuck just revealed in an in-depth investigation that they are in fact not such a good company, and they are already trending. Well, let's take a look at exactly why, because it is insane. And huge shout out to @Robbie Starbuck on Twitter. He did some great work talking about why can't I think of the name of the company? Tractor Supply. Now we've got John Deere. Really, anytime you have one of these companies that is publicly traded, this is a huge risk you take with them. They're going to get woke, in my experience. It's time to reveal John Deere. John Deere has been one of the most beloved brands by conservative farmers. I guess the ones that don't want to actually fix their own stuff. But anyway, it's the big reason I got rid of John Deere. I used to have a nice John Deere lawn tractor. No more. Kubota only for me. This right to repair nonsense is a whole different topic. But anyway, shout out Lewis Rossman doing the Lord's work there. One of the most beloved by conservative farmers, but recently CEO John May's watch, they've gone woke. Here's just a few things that they found out. One, funding pride events for kids as young as 3. Not great. 2, genderbread man training. They ask employees to list their preferred pronouns on all communications. Bill Gates is listed as their largest shareholder. I never really hold that kind of stuff against companies. People say that about Rumble too. By the way, are you following me on Rumble yet? Are you following the Publica on Rumble? Please do. These are my 2 most important channels. So if you haven't yet, please do follow them. You can't really control who buys stock in your company. I think it's worthwhile knowing who owns large shares of stock, because they can wield some power if it's a huge amount. But it's like you can't really block someone from buying stock. Anyway, John Deere celebrated their accounting and finance team taking United Way's 21-day United for Equity program. When I did United for Equity program, it promoted Ibram Kendi, the woke children's book, Anti-Racist Baby, Awake to Woke to Work, a podcast on the concept of, quote, whiteness, woke activist Robin DiAngelo's bigotry against Christians who supposedly have, quote, Christian privilege, and more. The woke policies have spread across the global John Deere brand, with many of their diversity, equity, and inclusion policies also being forced on their Latin America and India branches. Now, you remember just a few seconds ago, I brought up Tractor Supply. The reason I brought up Tractor Supply is because they actually, I won't say bent the knee, because it is a good thing what they did, but they, if it was revealed that Tractor Supply was, training employees in DEI and all this nonsense, they canceled all their DEI programs. So folks listening to this, share this video. If you see this video on Twitter, share it. Share Robbie's tweet. Companies will back down, because we are the real customers, by the way. I've actually purchased multiple John Deere tractors. I wonder how many of these woke weirdos who live 7 to a studio apartment have ever spent, thousands of dollars on a lawn tractor before. Or, I don't know, my brother-in-law spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on giant tractors because he's a farmer. Anyway, they also teach LGBTQ and race-based identity groups at corporate, a total commitment to DEI policies, and a 95 out of 100 CEI score from the HRC. John Deere also just announced layoffs in the United States, and that they plan to shift large segments of production away from the United States to Mexico. To put it mildly, John Deere seems to have forgotten who their customers are. Having a farm myself, I'm disgusted that a once great American brand is now taking this turn to seemingly embrace leftist policies that are diametrically opposed to the values of most farmers. What's unknown is whether CEO John May is knowingly forcing these policies or if he's gotten out of control and he's out of the loop on how bad it actually is. His response to the story will be very revealing as to his culpability in the implementation of woke policies. Again, this is what I talked about before with Tractor Supply. They responded and they dropped all of their policies. We're now going to do a deep dive on donations and interviews. Interviews their executives have given, hiring practices, woke causes they've supported, the difficulties some farmers have facing trying to repair their products, that's the right to repair stuff, and more. If you think John Deere's values don't align with yours and your customer or potential customer wants to speak out, I've provided their email and corporate customer service number. By the way, if 1,000 of you sent an email, well, like nicely worded, courteous, especially if you have receipts or proof of purchase on any of their products, letting them know that you're not going to be purchasing anymore. They get 1,000 of those, they're going to change their mind. That's all it's going to take. 1,000 people who've purchased John Deere products, letting them know that they won't be purchasing them anymore. That call center, which normally gets 7 calls a day, gets 100 calls today, 200 calls a day, 300 calls a day. That's how I got Wizards of the Coast, a gaming company, to change their policy. They had policies in place that refused background checks that allowed nearly a dozen predators around kids. My viewers at the time kept calling Hasbro, and it forced them to change the policy. If you think John Deere's values, the majority of your local dealers also likely disagree with this culture change. So please be respectful if you reach out to them about your concerns. This is a corporate thing, but if you talk to your local dealer, they can tell their representatives at corporate, hey, I'm getting a lot of blowback on this. What's going on? My goal with reporting is never destruction. My goal is to inform consumers about their values of major companies are adopting so that they can make choices about what they're willing to support. By the way, that reminds me, have you installed the Veebs app? They're adding stuff about travel. They're adding big purchases to their stuff. Hopefully they'll have some stuff for these type of purchases. It's an app that I use every day. It allows you to scan items and figure out what a company's values are so you don't get duped into supporting some company that hates you. If you have an Android or an iPhone, you can search up Veebs. And if you use promo code 4444 when they ask you to send back the confirmation number, you'll get a free 60-day trial. Give it a shot. Scan stuff in your house. Check, see where you're spending your money, because nothing feels worse than giving money to someone you hate. They also have new categories like hotels that they're going to be focusing on, airlines, rental cars, and more like that in the works. But more of that is coming to Veebs. So get that app today. He continues, as we saw with my Tractor Supply stories, millions of people spoke out against these type of woke policies, and ultimately Tractor Supply did the right thing by eliminating woke policies, donations, trainings, and positions because of your voices. The customer is king, and most of us want companies that we shop at to stop virtue signaling and about divisive social and cultural political issues. If you agree, share this video. And he goes on. So again, Robbie Starbuck is doing amazing work. You can go right to the John Deere website and see they have a diversity, equity, and inclusion section built right in. I mean, what a great thing, what an incredible thing to do, it's wild to me that you end up able to do this for so long and go undetected. It really is. But to me, I think now is a great time to remind people, now is a great time to remind people, hey, check out these websites for these people. You have DE&I, we run together. Black-owned heritage farm. This egg farmer is making golf more inclusive. What? Proactively pursuing top tech talent and diversifying our talent pool. What? I don't even understand. Well, what does that even mean? Your top, what? Oh, they have their, look at all these groups they have. Abled, advocacy benefiting leadership employees touched by disabilities. What? Asian Connection. Berg, Black Employee Resource Group. HOLA, Hispanic and Latine, with an E. John Deere, Women in Manufacturing. MERG, Military Employment Resource Group. That I'm fine with. Multicultural, Native and Indigenous. I mean, they are as woke as they get. Pronouns. We encourage employees to use their personal pronouns, such as he, him, and his, she, her, and hers, they, them, and theirs, in internal and external communication. Not only is it a sign of mutual respect. What? What does that even mean? What mutual respect? Like, what are they talking about? It's practical for our global company. With employees and customers in 6 continents, sharing pronouns and respecting one another's helps foster a sense of belonging. No, business has happened for 1,000,000 years, okay? Business has happened for a very, very long time without anybody needing to know or respect anybody else's pronouns. This is nonsense. Of course, U.S. farmers just recently won their right to repair lawsuit earlier last year, January 2023. This is nonsense. Here you have, John Deere's gone woke. They've won awards. They built in an LGBTQIA++ award. They have world-changing ideas. They have best employers for diversity. What? Literally what? What does this have to do with making tractors? The answer is nothing. Screw John Deere. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. Make sure you share it far and wide, and we'll talk to you again real soon.